These two Argentinian YouTubers are facing 5 years in prison after they were arrested at the World Cup match in Miami for attempting to bypass security with expired credentials. The levels of stupidity here is honestly baffling, and it probably didn't help that they're actually vlogging everything during these games for members-only videos, which I guess included them trying to access multiple off-limits areas in the previous match. But there were actually only 2 of the total of 16 people who were arrested in the Colombia-Portugal game in Miami on Sunday. Also, honestly, I'm not really too surprised this happened in Miami of all places, because I don't know how many times we've covered an influencer being arrested in Miami just this year. It's no secret to anyone that every 4 years, a couple of nations host the FIFA World Cup, and they are swarmed with fans from all over the world. And obviously, this year, North America is hosting, which has been insanely fun to be a part of, since you can actually feel the spirit of not only American soccer fans, but also soccer fans around the world, football fans around the world. Sometimes I forget that we're the only people who call it soccer here, but of course, all of this excitement obviously attracts tons of tourists as well as influencers who can capitalize on the hype for content. And I guess 2 of these influencers who seem to really be hoping to capitalize off of this are 2 YouTubers from Argentina who go by Benny Marmol and Pato Parada. Benny is only 20 years old and Pato is 26, and together the 2 of them combined have about 750,000 YouTube subscribers, so they're definitely not nobodies. And they seem to collaborate a lot in their videos, and they became popular for their challenge content, where they regularly attempt to do things like eat outrageous amounts of food or live on $1 a day. So I'm really not surprised they decided, the challenge for today's video is let's sneak into a FIFA World Cup game. What could go wrong? Well, apparently a lot, because I don't think they realize how much of a security risk it is if random people can get through the security checkpoint. But also, to be fair, sneaking into sporting events and trying to get access to off-limit areas like, infield or box suites, that seems to be like new stuff for them. But for some reason, they allegedly decided that they were going to try and use their old tickets to access this Colombia-Portugal game in Hard Rock Stadium. Because when in Miami, I guess. And I'm going off of a few different news sources, with some of them being translated from Spanish to English, but they at least all agree that these 2 YouTubers snuck past several layers of security using expired passes, according to cops. And I'm going to assume that there were passes from the Uruguay game a few days before, when they vlogged themselves attending with no issues. So they themselves said in the video that they were going to try to attend as many games as they possibly could.
We're going to be doing these vlogs for members. We're going to try to go to all the games that are played here in Miami, and well, if we have the chance to go to another game that is played somewhere else, we're going to go to. We're going to play somewhere else. So stay tuned and don't forget to join members.
But obviously, with tickets starting at a couple $1,000s just weeks out from the game, it's easy to understand it's expensive to go to these games. It is definitely a massive privilege to be able to go. I was extremely lucky to get 1 free ticket to go to the Norway versus France game in Boston a few days ago. And I had the pleasure of seeing all of Norway's main players benched, and got to see them fight it out against some of the best players in the world. So that was a little bit of an underwhelming game. But again, I was extremely blessed to get a free ticket. So I was just happy to be there, even though it would have been ideal to see Norway put up a little bit of a better fight against France. But I also understand the argument, because they were like, hey, we made it into the knockout round. This game doesn't matter too much. Why risk injuring our key players? Fair. Regardless, thank you to Joseph from the Urban Legend for actually bringing me along to that game. But I digress. When I also said that they, viewed the game with no issues, I mean, they got into the stadium after their cameraman was denied entry, and then proceeded to see how far, I guess, they can push their access.
We had a problem at the door, and unfortunately they didn't let the cameraman in. We'll try to fix it for the next matches, but hey, we're here. In the first one, Uruguay against Saudi Arabia.
And apparently they entered through media doors that I'm not really sure how they had passes to go through, and they attempted to access field areas and kitchens, but were kicked out of both, according to them. By the end of everything, they found themselves seated in a box, except they were actually whispering very quietly and calmly, leading me to believe that they were also not exactly supposed to be there. Either way, though, it was the next game at Hard Rock Stadium where they ended up being arrested for interfering with a sporting event, which carries a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. And like I mentioned, it's been reported they attempted to bypass security using expired credentials. So when they were questioned by cops, Marmol reportedly told cops that he was an influencer trying to stream the game. I don't know if that's the strategy I would go for, but hey, to each their own. I feel like that would only make things infinitely worse, especially considering how expensive it is to actually bid and obtain a license to actually show show this game. So I don't think they want random YouTubers up on the stand live streaming the game. But also at the same time, Parada says that he was hired by a media company to review the event and has credentials, but they were from a previous event, according to his arrest report, which I guess is, you know, another spectacular excuse. Both YouTubers were arrested on charges of interfering with a sporting or entertainment event, which are apparently charges that Florida's been cracking down on after the 2024 Copa America final, which saw 27 people arrested and 55 people ejected from the event. So it's safe to say they are definitely not looking the other way when it comes to Benny and Pato here, since apparently a Miami-Dade judge found probable cause for both and ordered them to be held on a $2,500 bond. And they were actually being held as of Sunday afternoon, but according to a lawyer on Twitter who apparently reached out to the boys to offer advice, they have since posted bail and are now arresting and analyzing the next steps, which apparently they seem to expect to include being exonerated of the charges and then being given compensation for the damages suffered. So they are claiming a wrongful arrest, but again, this is just based off of translated tweets from a lawyer that says they spoke to them. And he's also being named as their manager in articles, but I mean, his own tweet also clarifies that this isn't the case. So there's a little bit of mixed messaging here, to put it lightly, but both YouTubers entered not guilty pleas and requested jury trials. So it seems like as of right now, they both really want to fight this. So again, it seems surprising they're actually going to go this route, but maybe they actually think that they have footage that'll help their case.
We are about to tell the worst anecdote we have ever experienced in our lives, and I am not exaggerating. And also, when we got out of this ordeal, we found out that they are telling thousands and thousands of lies. So we have to tell the anecdote, and while we are telling it, we have to tell the story. And in addition, we have to tell the story, and we have to tell the story. And while we are telling it, we have to tell it. Morgan. Everything was said. Everything was said. No, but it really was something incredible. I still can't believe what we lived through. I keep thinking about it, and we'll see. And it angers me having no photos of it all, but oh well. No, I'm going to tell it, and this will cause a stir, but I swear to God that everything we are going to tell will be verbatim without omitting a single detail.
Either way, I'm inclined to believe the vlog footage of them hoping to sneak into the restricted areas will definitely not help them. What do I know though? I guess the other alternative though is them accepting the charges and potentially spending years in American prison. That's really not an ideal outcome either. So they did kind of get themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. And also, after being released, they also reduced the chances of being able to re-enter the US after this as well. So again, yeah, they put themselves in a really not ideal situation here. But they're definitely not alone though, because out of the 61,000 people who went to the game, 16 people in total were arrested and 17 people were ejected from the event. And I guess they just happen to be the most popular people who are arrested that night, it seems. So right now, we'll just kind of have to wait and see what's going to happen with our court cases, since there's really no dates set right now and it's still very early in the trial process. But either way, it seems like that squashed their plans for getting into as many FIFA World Cup games as possible. So if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. And also, I dropped an hour-and-a-half long video on the TikTok psychic where she claims she's going to sue me because of what happened in that video. So I would heavily recommend checking it out. It would be right here. I'm going to put it right there. Click on it right there, and it'll also be in the top of the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.